Hey guys, today we're going to look at some strange carvings of Veeranarayana temple. This first carving is a real shocker. It is a large-scale model of Lord Buddha. Now, this is an ancient Hindu temple that's about 800 years old, but you can see that they have carved Buddha on the front wall as a giant statue. This could be shocking to many people today, because they think Hinduism and Buddhism are completely different religions. In fact, people theorize that these religions were fighting against each other in ancient times. But here, you can see this giant carving of Buddha right in front of the temple, the same size as the Hindu god Krishna nearby. So the ancient builders had no issues in accepting Buddha as a Hindu god. Unfortunately, this is completely destroyed by invaders. You can see they disfigured it from top to bottom. And because of this destruction, some experts have even claimed that this is not Buddha, this is some other Hindu deity. But this is Buddha. You can see him in the meditating pose with clear hand signals. We can also see him carved in the main statue of this temple. That one is much smaller, but we can clearly identify him as Buddha. Again, I have also shown you that Buddha was carved in another Hindu temple nearby. The Chennakeshava temple also shows Buddha. But this carving is actually a real treasure because the rest of them are smaller statues. And as far as I've seen in this region, this is the only large statue of Buddha carved in a Hindu temple, but it's a shame that it's nearly unrecognizable. Right next to Buddha, you can see Lord Krishna, and he's playing flute, and everybody is mesmerized by his music. Not only humans, but even animals are completely enthralled by his music. But do you notice anything strange? This guy is wearing a backpack just like today's backpack. It's clearly shown that this is a separate bag, but it's strapped to his back. This is really fantastic because we would assume that they started using backpacks maybe in the last century, but this is at least 800 years old. Here's another carving of a man standing under a tree. This is very confusing because I don't fully understand the details, but he is clearly shown with a backpack, and it seems like he's removing the backpack. Now, there is another strange feature in this carving. There is a weird animal hiding in the tree. In this carving, you can see a hill, or you can think of it as a giant boulder with lots of trees and several animals. This boulder is being lifted by Krishna, and you can see snakes come out of the bottom of this rock. This is a fascinating detail because snakes are known for hiding under stones. I remember when I was a child, when I flipped over small stones, I would always find worms. And when I got too excited and I flipped bigger stones, I would sometimes find snakes. I guess it's always moist and dark under the stones, and it's probably an ideal condition for worms and snakes. But this detail shows how observant ancient builders were. Here, you can see another snake. It is shown with 5 heads. Did such snakes exist during the time of Krishna? Remember, Krishna is said to have lived about 5,000 years ago. So we can only imagine if such multi-headed snakes actually existed during those times. Today, sometimes they find 2-headed snakes, and it makes us wonder if what we see in these carvings is fiction or fact. But here, the story gets more interesting. It's not just a snake, It's a demon in the form of Naga. And here you can see a woman begging for mercy. Who is she? She's one of the wives of this Naga. And at this point, Krishna is considering if he should show mercy to the snake while he's dancing on its head. What is fascinating is this nearby carving of Garuda, the eagle-like god, next to Krishna. It's very strange because he's doing namaste to Krishna as though he's also begging him to leave the snake alone. In fact, the snake is getting destroyed because of this eagle. This eagle is the one who displaced the snake from its original home and put it near Krishna's house. Remember, eagles and snakes have been sworn enemies forever, like lions and hyenas. But now he's pretending to ask for mercy for the snake. There's definitely some hidden humor in this, and ancient people would have laughed at this carving. But you can see another fascinating anatomical detail in this carving. Can you tell me what it is? Here, you can see this tiny protrusion on his leg. This is actually one of his toes. In anatomy, it's called a dew claw or sometimes even a spur. Birds have an extra toe high up in the leg. It's almost never used. Most people don't even know that such a feature exists in birds. But this is a very interesting, tiny little detail that's been added in this carving and gives us great insight to understanding how close ancient builders were to nature. Here's another carving of Garuda. Again, you can see the dew claw. So it makes me wonder how sculptors thought of this tiny detail and kept it consistently in all carvings of Garuda. Today, there is a new trend. People get dogs and cats as pets, and they may not even realize that they don't have dew claws. Most dogs are born with dew claws, but now dog breeders are removing them when the puppies are just 5 or 7 days old. Ancient builders were not doing little things like declawing dogs, but were involved in major things like detusking elephants. I don't know if there is such a word called detusking. Maybe I made that up. But you can see these beautiful elephants, but their tusks. Initially, you may think they're broken. They're not broken. They're trimmed and capped with metal caps. Believe it or not, you can still see this practice in temple elephants today. The tusks, if allowed to grow fully, can be quite dangerous and cause a lot of damage, even accidentally. And look at the heavy ornamenting on its body. Ancient Indians had mastered the art of domesticating elephants at least 2,000 years ago. And again, you can see a very interesting detail. There are veins and arteries on the earlobe. If you ever had a pet elephant, you may have realized how veinous an elephant's earlobes can be. It's a big chore to clean an elephant's ears because they can easily bleed. But what are these elephants doing in this temple? Look at their legs. They're bent at a 45-degree angle. Why? I told you every carving has a purpose. These elephants are dragging a huge load. They're pulling a vehicle. And what is that vehicle? It is the temple itself. If you take a step back and observe, you will realize that the temple is designed like a giant chariot and it's being drawn by these elephants. But there are many mysterious, unexplained carvings inside the temple on the ceiling. Look at this. This is mind-boggling. It just appears as though a bunch of humanoids are wrapped up like mummies, and are arranged in various circles. What do you think is going on here? But one carving in the ceiling has survived, and instead of satisfying our curiosity, it actually increases our curiosity. Krishna is standing in the middle with a flute. Now, if you look around the first circle, you will see 8 dancers around him. In the next circle, you will see 16 chakras and kongs positioned symmetrically. In the outermost circle, you can see 32 cows. And if you look at the square around this, you can count 64 floral patterns. But this gets more weird if you have studied ancient Indian texts. Krishna is the 8th avatar of Vishnu. The flute he's playing has 8 holes, and there are 8 dancers. They could be his wives called Ashtalakshmis. You can see 8 kongs precisely pointing in 8 directions, and there are 8 chakras. And if we zoom in on each chakra, each one has exactly 8 teeth, like the teeth of a deer. If you look at the cows, it gets very interesting because initially I thought it's just a random array of 32 cows. But if you observe carefully, again, you see that there are 4 types of cows shown, some with very long horns, some with medium horns, etc. This again means there are 8 carvings of any particular type or breed. I'm sure we can find that hidden 8 in the outer square also if these patterns had not been partially destroyed. There is some weird connection between the number 8 and these ceiling carvings, but nearly all the other carvings have been destroyed, so it's impossible to decode them further. Here again, you can see a spectacular carving with intertwined nagas. You can see the 8 sides of this panel, but the other details are not so visible anymore. What was the obsession with snakes? What are the ancient builders trying to tell us here? This giant guy is fighting this giant snake, and he's holding on to a tree. And look, there is a baby hiding in the tree. And this tiny guy is fighting this tiny snake. And all this is happening while somebody is hiding in the closet. We could make this into a horror movie today. Who can explain this? You can also find other animals like lizards and caterpillars, but these are not carvings, they're real animals living in this temple. Of course, we have to examine the most dominant species on the planet. Here is a woman with a unique hairdo, and she's holding a rectangular device in her hand. Is she taking a selfie with her iPhone 13? Or is it just a mirror? Is it a clay tablet where some message is written on it? Or is it a Kindle and she's reading an ebook? Is she on a video call with someone? What is this device? The standard theory of archaeologists is that this is a mirror, and they think nobody should even question that. Sometimes a woman is shown primping, and we can guess it is a mirror. Sometimes they're shown writing on it, so we can say it can be a clay tablet or a padded cloth. Sumerians used clay tablets widely, but it is unclear if this practice also existed in India. The face would have revealed micro-expressions like vanity or surprise, but it is destroyed. If it shows vanity, we can conclude it's a mirror. If it shows surprise, we can say it was a tablet containing some information or a message from someone. Or if she shows a duck face, we can conclude she's taking a selfie. I think she's watching a YouTube video just like you. I hope you like this video. I am Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you soon.